Question number one. Podcasters have to get the word out about their shows to increase listenership. Yep. What are the top 2 to 3 ways to market a podcast?
How much time you got?
I'm going to ask,
Ladies first?
I'll let you know when the time
Okay, perfect, thank you.
I got you. So who want to go first?
I have a question for the question.
Let's do it.
Does anyone out here have a podcast already? Okay.
Great question.
Great. And is anyone thinking about a podcast this year? Cami, you should already have one. I don't want to hear it from you.
A couple, I'm sure.
Yeah, like
right?
12.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Before we answer that question, what's your biggest struggle in marketing your content, marketing your podcast right now? Like
For the podcast.
views?
Yeah.
Okay.
Views.
Because like you've got production down, right? Okay, great. But it's just like no, production's not down? Okay. So like my answer to this question is always 2 parts. It's first, is your production on lock? Because you have to remember that your production process is actually your product. So you should put someone in charge of product development and make sure that is the process and that it is on lock. So I tell people, in fact, my co-host, I made her do a whole year of episodes before we ever talked about it to anyone. So that we had a whole year of just like going through the motion of like getting together and recording. What does editing really look like? We probably went through 6 or 7 different production calendars before we ever spoke about the podcast to anyone, because we want to make sure we could do it upside down, backwards. Like in the middle of that year, my dad died, her grandma died, like her kid changed schools. Like it was just a hot mess. But like we managed to like get episodes out every week without a stop. So, like, remember, like, the answer to that question is, like, if your production is down or threatened or in any kind of way insecure, then your marketing is also going to be shit. Wow, so
real
just
talk.
as a thought, that's where we're going to start.
How many of you do have your CTAs somewhere before the 50% mark of your show?
Good question. Is there a call to action before 50%?
Are you asking people to subscribe, to go to your website,
That's a good question.
buy your thing? No. Yeah. And listen, I'm guilty as charged.
I think I'm guilty as charged.
Yeah, because I've got a podcast about podcasting, and this is sort of by design, because I don't want this to be more. I don't want my podcast to be a pimp my business type deal. So
Sure.
it's more of like, hey, this is what we can help you with. We're going to get tactical with some of this stuff. But for some of you who are leaning on your business or on your podcast to pimp your business, it will be critical for you to have some sort of CTA, if not within your cold open or your intro, at the very least. If you might feel a little smarmy, at the very least try and do it somewhere in the 50% mark. And if that, at least save it for the end. One of the most successful podcasts in the world is the Jocko Willink Show. And so his intro is, this is the Jocko Podcast. I'm Jocko Willink. This is episode number 75,000. And then he goes right into the episode, and he doesn't do any other brand endorsements or anything until the very end. So at least do it somewhere. If you're not going to do it at the beginning or at the 50% mark, then save it for the very end, especially if you're
well, and that like call to action, that's such a good topic, calls to action. It doesn't have to be buy something, right? It doesn't have to be the hard sales pitch. You really need to follow, it's kind of a tried and true, kind of a little bit old school rule, but the 80-20 rule in social media. So 80% of your content that you put out in the world needs to add to the conversation without asking for anything, and 20% needs to be asking for something. But within that 20%, it also breaks down to 80-20. So 80% of that needs to be something like community engagement. Hey, like, follow. Hey, what do you think about this? Like, add a comment. Only 20% of the 20% then can be subscribe, give me your email address, buy something, share this with a friend. Like some of those high friction asking points need to be few and far between, because if somebody feels like they're getting value from you, then they don't mind sharing, or they don't mind giving you their email address. But like we've all grown up with enough marketing shit in the water that like everyone can tell when they're being sold to. So you don't want to do that. But like your CTA needs to be there. It needs to be planned on purpose. Like if you're not paying attention to where those CTAs are, I think you're losing the game.
Yeah, I love the foundational pieces, because this is foundational in regards to podcast production, getting it dialed in, right? And then Freddie coming in with the CTA, making sure you're back in when you talk about your podcast, it's centered around your strategy as it relates to your overall, biz dev, or what you're trying to do as a personal brand. I will add to that. getting the word out. So I would say that be very thoughtful. I see a lot of podcasters, when they post their podcast, it's spray and pray. They just want to put it out there, post and ghost is what I heard. They post it, and this is my show. Listen to it. Be more thoughtful about the context around the show, and then you pitch the show on the back end. So don't just post a link. Give some context. We talked about, John was talking about signature style. Add your voice, add your voice. I think a lot of people get really lazy when it comes to social media marketing and podcasting because they just want to post and think that there's going to get, a major attraction, right? What you want to do is make sure that you create a story, infuse stories, whether it's a case study or something that you went through, to be able to tailor that into the podcast. And you could do that through social media. And then one of the things that we're doing as well is email marketing. Have an email list. My podcasters, how many of you have an email list for your shows?
Too few of you.
Yeah. Own it. Start thinking about how can I own an email list, because that's going to be the bridge line between you and your listener. So every single time you post a new episode, you let them know, hey, here's a story. This is the exclusive before I post it on social media. You email them and say, this is the story behind this particular episode. If you would like to listen and learn more or watch, go ahead and check out the podcast.
Yeah.
So again, more contextual marketing is what we need to get the word out.
That email list is super critical. And honestly, even if you just have, you don't need to spend time or money on developing a website. All you need is a splash page with an email capture. It says, do you want to be the first person to know what's going on in this podcast? Send me your email. Because people move houses more frequently than they change email addresses. I still have my email address from junior high, ChinaChick1616@hotmail.com. Just so you know. I was born in China. My locker was 1616, and Hotmail was the vibe. You know what I'm saying? You can still email me there. Don't try it today. But you can, VanessaUller@gmail.com. But people just don't, they still hang on to those, right? So as soon as someone has gifted you, and truly it is a gift, their email address, then you can have a real conversation with them. So don't discount email marketing as a non-social form. Just because you can't, comment, share, doesn't mean that it's not social. This is I have conversations with people all the time in my inbox. That's where I spend most of my time, right?
Wow. And you own that real estate too.
Yeah.
And,
right.
And I think let's just use very even numbers here. If you have 500 followers on Instagram and 500 email subscribers, more people are going to see your email, and you actually own that list.
Yeah.
Versus Instagram, if you accidentally post something that might offend the algorithm, and then you end up getting pushed down. Then,
yeah. Or Instagram does something weird, decides to change their format to 5.5 in your grid, and now you're just fucked.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Right.
That's what my Instagram looks like right now. I'm very sorry. I apologize.
Wow.
It does. Sorry.
Great.
I was into grids for a while.
Jeez. All right, so question number 2. Let's get into the details. What are your favorite specific tactics and strategies for podcasting?
Ooh, wow. So
Okay.
many.
Do you want to start? 'Cause-
Save the best for last. Right? Is that what it is? All right. Go ahead.
All
Ladies
right.
first.
This is gonna feel like a big thing rather than a small thing, but I think your branding must be on point, because if your brand is not there and it's not, use your word, authentic to you, then any marketing efforts feel exhausting. They just feel like I have to put on this mask every day. I have to take some extra effort to do this thing. It's just not organic and natural to you. And what I mean by branding is answering the following 3 questions. Number 1, who am I? Who am I really? Who am I? Number 2, what am I trying to say? What am I doing on this planet? What am I contributing to the conversation? Because the other thing that people forget all the time is social media is a 2-way conversation. If you're treating it like a billboard, people are not going to pay attention to you. So in the conversation that I want to be in, what am I contributing to that? And then number 3, who's it going to impact the most? Because you cannot be the Cheesecake Factory menu. I'm sorry. You cannot be that. You cannot be everything to everyone. You need to be specifically yourself for a specific person with a specific message. If you answer those 3 questions really, truly, honestly, that's a great brand strategy. And then it becomes okay, where do I want to show up? Where does the person I'm talking to, my specific audience, where do they show up? That will dictate, do I need to be on YouTube? Do I need to be on Instagram? Do I need to be on Spotify? Yeah. Cami was just horrified that everybody was looking at her Instagram. She's like, I'm on LinkedIn though. I'm like, yeah, because she's into business to business, teaching people how to dominate AI and use it in their small business. So she's on LinkedIn more than she's on Instagram, but I helped her make a post. It's great because I took some photos. So she's doing fine. But that's one of those things like that will determine your channel strategy really quickly. If you know who you are, where your person that you want to change their life actually exists, and then what are you trying to say that's your format? Do I need video? Do I need audio? Do I need social shorts? Do I need long form? Do I need short form? Do I need boomerangs? I still love a boomerang, millennial. But so like that's my very specific thing is like, do not discount the branding. And that's not necessarily like colors, fonts, whatever come next. The core of your brand needs to be, who am I trying to impact in their life? And what am I trying to say to move them closer to that impact?
I love your branding brain.
Hey,
I love
anytime.
it. She always brings the game when it comes to branding. Yes, the branding goddess. Okay, so we're talking about marketing tactics. One of the things, and I love this question because I do this every day. I work for a podcast network, so I work with a lot of advertisers and over 100 podcasts daily. So yeah, I mean, I love this. So things that are working, okay? Cross promotion. Cross promotion. We are doing promo swaps. One of the things I've discovered is the podcasting, the creator community in general, it's one of the most collaborative communities. So we use something like, it's called Rephonic.graph, REPHONIC.graph. And it basically gives you your podcast neighborhood. So for my podcasters, and if you're looking to start a podcast, it'll show you a graph of all the podcasts that your listeners are listening to.
Cool.
I mean, for me as a marketer, I look at that, I'm like, this is gold, because now I can encourage the podcaster, hey, they're also listening to this show, this show, this show. Here's a strategy. Reach out to them and ask them if you could put a 30 to 60 second promo ad on their show. Now it's borrowed audiences. Now you know they listen to their shows. Now you're in front of their listenership, and that's how we grow shows, is internally. Social media is great for a brand awareness. Great, continue doing that. But go where your listeners are at. So they're listening to other podcasts, right? So we do promo swaps, and we also do this thing called feed drops, which feed drops is basically you say, hey, Vanessa, we have the same audience. How about if we trade and I'll give you a full episode so you can upload to your RSS feed, and we'll do the same thing. So their audience gets a taste of one of my full episodes, and vice versa. That's how we start cross-promoting. Another thing that I love that the YouTubers are doing is called co-creating, which is basically we're talking about branding.
You and I need to do this already.
Yeah, and we've kind of done this in a way.
Done a few
so yeah, we need to do this. Freddie, you do
It was
too.
born here.
So, so what we do is we'll do one interview talking about branding on her podcast, and she says, if you want part 2 of this interview, head over to Ozil Show Creator Factor, where we're going to continue the conversation. Again, think strategically. How can I get in front of other similar audiences? That's how you grow your show effectively, and that's what we're seeing within the network. So those are some tactics and strategies you guys can use. So collaborate. Send out 3 emails a week to podcasters, okay? 3 a week, I promise you, and say, hey, we have similar audiences. Would you be interested in doing a promo swap, or we do a co-created episode? You're gonna get a yes, because I rarely get a no, unless there's like bigger shows versus smaller shows, but you'll be surprised, and they're open to it. So collaboration, highly encouraged. That's how you grow your show.
I want to piggyback on something that Ozil said about the Rephonic websites. We use this for our clients, and with Rephonic, you can see a breakdown of a show's kind of like bio. You can see how many followers they have, how many.
He's done this for me.
Yeah. So, and then you can tell whether or not they are a guest format. So if they're taking guests, then that's obviously going to work for you. So that's a very, that's a great tactic. Another thing that we like to do with our clients is we like to have, if it fits, we'll have one client host another, and then we take that episode and then they drop the actual audio into their feed. So for instance, we have a property management client who happened to have a construction lawyer on his show, and then that construction lawyer had that interview dropped into her podcast feed. So if any of you listen to business podcasts, you might notice that Gary Vaynerchuk does this, Alex Hormozi does this. So that's another very good tactic that will work and expose you to different audiences, and also introduce your audience to a side of you that they may not have otherwise heard. Now, a very guerrilla marketing tactic that I like, that I've seen work in real time for my show, is actually showing people, hey, Vanessa, let me steal your phone and go into Spotify and look up my show and then hit subscribe. So when you're out meeting people, like at a conference, you can say, hey, Oscar, my photographer, Oscar, here's my Spotify feed, and then look up my show and then hit subscribe. And so that is immediately how you can start to build followers, and then they have to like your show also.
So I'll tell you a secret. As much as I had told you guys just like literally 5 minutes ago that making sure the process was down to an art was the reason I made Holland wait a whole year before we talked about it. Also an authority tactic. So anytime that we were out at a networking thing, like our biggest marketing tactic, because my podcast is called Ask Your Work Wife, and it's designed for ambitious women in corporate America. So we want to let's test it in Houston because it's a big enough market that if we do some grassroots stuff here and get some local media here, then it's pretty easy to go national. So we started networking events, and people would ask us what we're doing. Like, oh, we have this podcast. Immediately, it's that trust but verify loop. Then immediately pull up Spotify, look it up, and scroll. And if that scroll stops, they stop talking to you. But that scroll kept going because I had 52 episodes. And they were like, oh shit, you know what you're talking about. Like, yes, I do. Yeah. And so now they're engaged, right? So it was this 1-2 punch of intentionality that you're talking about. Is we need to make sure that we had the process down, because the process is the product, but also it turned out to be the best thing we could have ever done for our marketing, because it established authority quickly to have that many episodes just ready to go, Yeah, it was awesome.
I got a few more real quick, because again, my
brain. Yeah, I have some more too. I was like, no, we're going to stay right here for a second.
I'm going to give you guys a ton of value, a lot of game here. Okay, so another thing to do is pitch Apple and Spotify. So pitch them. There's actually a form where you can actually pitch them on your show, and you give them all the artwork. They like themes and series. Sometimes they'll reject your show, but continue pitching them. Spotify, Apple, I do this every 3 months for our clients. If you get landed, if your show lands on the New and Noteworthy or a series, you'll see download numbers. You'll see a major uptick. So just put it on your spreadsheet, your reminder, pitch them. And if you get a New and Noteworthy or a notable mention, that could help grow the show. Another last thing, if you want to get into the paid ad acquisition, Overcast.fm is a big one. And then Pocket Cast is another one that I used. And then Malpod.fm. These, for $50, $100, you can start experimenting, and you'll be surprised the type of listenership you can reach. So I always say that podcasters, a lot of us, we started as hobbies, and we may not have a lot of marketing dollars, but $50 and $100 to add for a couple ads to promote your show, it goes a long way. So I highly encourage for you to consider some paid acquisition to help you grow, and those are the ones that we've used, and we got some really good results. Yeah. So it's Podcast Cast is one, and Overcast.fm, and then Malpod is another one, and then keep it going. Castbox is another one. Castbox.fm is another one that we're seeing some really good results. So yeah, I highly suggest it. You invest.
And I would say not to go on to go beyond shows that are within your zone of influence. So when it comes to buying ads, you find people that are interested in what you find people that you share the same audience with. So, for example, we have a breast cancer nonprofit.
I was hoping you were going to bring this up.
Yeah. So we, with breast cancer awareness, women need annual mammograms. And, geez, there would be a great podcast for working women in corporate America. Oh, wait, Ask Your Work Wife. Would be a great way would be a great show to introduce the Rose's mission to.
And when Freddie brought this to us, we hadn't thought about that as an advertiser. Do you know what I'm saying? It was just, we were down this okay, businesses, corporate swag, whatever. And Freddie comes out of left field, and I'm like, this makes total sense. Let's go. So yeah, it was a great fit. I absolutely love that podcast.
And that whole Breast Awareness Month, that could be a pitch to Apple.
Yeah.
Apple would totally take that series and say, let's do it. And they love that type of content. So,
I think my other like note for everybody is like if you're producing a podcast, you're already producing a lot of content. So don't reinvent the wheel when it comes to marketing. So if you've got video, you automatically have a transcript that you can pull out and cut into pieces and make an email. You can make it a LinkedIn newsletter. You can make it then you cut up even further and make it Instagram post, make it copy, make it whatever. You can take screen grabs from your video. Even if you don't have video, if you only have audio, you can do the same thing. So like you're starting with the most complex version of content. Don't reinvent the wheel. Just take that, cut it up, use it. So like we don't have a guest format podcast, but what we did instead is my co-host Holland, her LinkedIn profile is like a little bit more people new to corporate America. And mine is a bunch of like C-suites and experts and SMEs. So what we did is we divide and conquer. We took the transcript and made emails and sent emails out to the email list, but then we also posted as a LinkedIn newsletter. Then on my side, I started doing monthly LinkedIn Lives with people in corporate America who had already achieved some level of success. And they all want to be thought leaders. So they all want some kind of content out there. So I'm like, great, you can be live with me. The top 60% of this like hour is going to be you talking about whatever you want to talk about. Your expertise, your thing, like whatever you're into is. The bottom 40% needs to be, how did you get there? Give me your entire career path so that I can cut that up and give it to my listeners as valuable content on how to like see what they want and how to achieve it, right? So that's another thing is like, you've already got a whole lot of content. Don't reinvent it, cut it up, and then make sure you're looking at channels, not just like, I'm going to be on LinkedIn, but what are the channels within that platform that you can really dial in for your audience?
And speaking on that, since you spoke on that,
Sure.
that audio part, that actually is one of the questions.
Perfect segue.
We've had
segue.
this fight before.
Yeah, they've been asking a lot. And they say, do podcasters need audio or video right now?
What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's a great.
Do you need
let's put our-
video? You have video, raise your hand. Okay.
Must have video. Okay.
Audio only is okay, raise your hand.
Audio only. Right
Okay,
there.
all right, yeah, all right.
Jonathan, I see you. Jonathan, audio.
One more time, did y'all say video only? Hands up. Video for podcast?
Now they're second guessing themselves.
Like, what just happened?
What about
Yeah.
audio? Hands up if y'all do audio.
Yeah.
Audio. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay, audio, go
Audio
for it.
is we're a minority.
Yeah, talk to me.
All right, so some of the most successful podcasts in the world are audio first, okay? So, and what we tell prospects and clients is that you should never do something that you are not, one, able to afford, and two, not comfortable with doing. And three, you don't have the bandwidth for. So
Yeah.
you can afford it.
In time or money.
You can, right, time
Yeah.
and money. So if you don't have either of those, or if you just don't want to, okay, there's some people who just don't want to be on camera. They're like, no, I like the comfort of being able to record in my closet. And not have to
Sweatshirt,
worry about,
jeans,
I don't have to worry
no
about
makeup.
aesthetics,
Yeah.
right? So do audio only.
Sure.
Just knowing that video does give you more credibility, but if you are willing to accept that trade-off, then go for it.
Sure.
Go for it.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
that's where I stand. But
Yeah.
you do have to be on YouTube.
We yeah,
You do,
fair.
okay.
Please,
That's
for the
it.
love of all things sacred, go on YouTube.
Yeah, we
Doesn't
did.
mean you need video.
So we had this conversation, Holland and I had this conversation very early on. Like we knew we wanted to do video.
Recently had a conversation.
Yeah, and you and I'm getting to there. I'm moving this way down the line, all right? On your own time. But like Holland and I had this conversation early on. We're like, we knew we wanted to be video. We wanted to start there, but like we didn't have the money for that. We didn't have the bandwidth for that. We didn't have the expertise for that to do it on our own. So we're like, okay, we are not going to let that stop us. And that's my little pep talk. Like, do not let it stop you that you don't have video. Even though video is critical, don't let it stop you. So we produce an audio-only show, which is what you'll see on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But then this last year, I was like, we really need video for marketing purposes. So what we did is we like paid one of my favorite video people, bless you, paid one of my favorite video people to come into my apartment and give us like an assessment of the lighting situation. Then he gave us a gear list and set up the lighting. And then we bought 2 iPhone 14s and we turned them on when we record. Adding video to Holland's editing process became a clusterfuck. So what I was like, listen, I don't actually need video for the podcast. I don't need a full video episode. What I need are social shorts for marketing. So I split those production schedules from each other so audio could maintain on this process that we'd been developing over a couple of years. And then video I just sent out to get the social shorts made. And in fact, AI does this for you now. So like I pulled cell phone video and we just like did social shorts, and so the social shorts exist on YouTube Shorts, they exist on Instagram Reels, they exist on TikTok, so that people can drive to a purchase channel. So like you've got driver channels and purchase channels. Purchase channels are going to be where people spend their time or their money to get your content. Driver channels are all the other ways that you can get them there. So sometimes you do need video, but it doesn't have to be a full video episode. It can just be the shorts.
YouTube Shorts and your RSS feed and your money.
Yeah,
And
that's
when
really,
you-
that's what I was
And then when you're ready for it, go to the full episodes.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
All right. So where do I begin? All right. So I'm very passionate about this. Yeah.
Do you want to stand up?
I need to stand up.
Full video.
Audio versus video. No. Let's talk about it. All right. So here's my thoughts. So I've been in the podcasting space for over 10 years now. So I'm an OG in the podcasting space.
He doesn't look that old, but
I know.
he is.
I'm so young. So
goes to the gym.
It was. So it was audio only. So I'm old school, audio only, right? Now I feel like there's this conversation about video versus audio. And it should be video and audio.
Amen.
Okay? So I do feel that true crime and narrative spoken word, it translates well on audio. I say YouTube, and for those who have YouTube channels, it's a whole different animal. So there's a lot of pressure for audio-only podcasters to be on video. And it's unfortunate because you're seeing them go into video, and I'm challenged by this as well, is that you're not producing high-quality video and you're just not getting any traction. And it's frustrating, and people give up in pod phase simply because their video is not performing. My video audio content, my audio outperforms my video 15-1.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane, right? So my views on YouTube are not there, but I get a lot of downloads. So I know my audience, they're audio driven, right? They're audio centric. So knowing that, so I do agree with the panelists that my friends here that definitely be on video. Set up your RSS on YouTube because YouTube is one of the most, that shows that they're the number one
It's their number
listenership.
They're number one over Apple and Spotify. Please, if you are not on YouTube, put your RSS.
So get it on there, right? But don't feel pressure like you need to go video. I think there's an opportunity for you to just go audio. As a matter of fact, I think we talked about this. I think that audio is the blue ocean right now. Mm-hmm. I think people are sleeping on audio. I think there's a great opportunity just to go strictly audio and dominate that lane, and then you can go incorporate video. I do feel like having some sort of video component to market the show is necessary. I do feel like you are at a competitive disadvantage if you don't have a video element to it, whether it's marketing or sharing it on social.
That can be BTS video.
Correct.
Like it doesn't have to be this
Correct.
overproduced full episode. It can just be,
Yes.
hey, I'm going to take a boomerang while we're in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't feel pressure. If you want to go audio only, trust me, the numbers are there. People are listening to audio content. If you want to go video, great. If you want to do both, understand that YouTube is a different animal. You're not going to get a lot of views there. It's going to be a slow burn. But if you want to go towards a video podcast, which there's a big boom now with video podcasting, I think here is a good opportunity for you to jump on it if it suits your content and the context that you're putting out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Real quick, what was that acronym you used for YouTube to start with an R?
RSS.
Yep.
What does it stand for? Something syndication.
Yeah.
But it's basically, so you essentially need to host your data somewhere. So instead of Apple or Spotify or YouTube storing all your shit, they want you to store it, but they'll just, your website will provide, wherever you're hosting it, your website will provide a link, your RSS link, that you provide to, the platform. So Spotify, YouTube, whatever. So they'll come pull your data into their feed rather than duplicating it and having your own server at Apple.
So you copy and paste that link
Yeah.
and put it on the YouTube podcast feed.
Yeah.
And it'll automatically populate the content from the RSS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
you
get
got
a
it.
little technical, man. We could talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
All right, so I got one more question.
Okay.
And this question, y'all got about 30 seconds apiece to ask.
Ah! I'll go last.
Let me see what's about 30 more.
I'll be here all day.
No, I love it. I love it. So, if you could offer a podcaster one main piece of advice, what would it be?
Just one? We have to have 30 seconds to think about it. Have a great name. Oh, you can't break it. This is what I say about social media all the time. It's non-linear.
Yep.
No one's paying attention unless you make them, and you can't break it. So like if you put something out there and it gets like 5 views, don't delete it. That's good data. That's learning. Improve on every iteration. So I came from magazines and I was like, sure, I'm a perfectionist. I was sure that like if I put the right amount of like processes in place and all the reviews and all the whatever, this magazine was gonna be perfect, right? I launched a brand new magazine the year that everybody declared magazines are gonna be dead. It was profitable within 3 months. It was awesome. But I went down to my pressman and I was like, hey, the first one's off the press. I'm so excited. He was like, I need you to calm down. I was like, why? And he's like he's like 65, old, long-haired hippie. He's amazing. He's 75. He was 65 at the time. 80. But he said, Vanessa, this is the truth of a magazine. The first issue that comes off the press, the first page you turn to, there will be a typo. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? He was like, it will be true. And I was like, it can't be. I have done all of this work. It cannot be true. Nevertheless, I was there, first book off the press, first page I opened to, in a headline that's half the page typo. I was like, ugh. And he's like, you can't fix it now because I've already got 10,000 in the bin, but you can improve on the next one. So you can't break it, improve on every iteration. That's what I say about social media. Wow. You have 30 seconds.
30 seconds. All right, couple things. So a lot of podcasters getting into the space think creative first. So they think the name and everything else. I'm going to flip that. Think audience first.
Yeah.
Think about who you're really going to serve, the transformation you want to deliver, the feeling and the vibe that you want to give them. Think audience first, then the creative becomes secondary. It makes your marketing a lot more effective when you really understand who exactly I want to speak to, right? So make sure audience first and foremost. And then lastly, just have fun with it. You know, I think understanding why you do podcasting, I love it. We can all attest to this. We've had some of the best friends through just conversations on the podcast. I've got to meet a lot of high-level marketing people and people in the business world simply because I had a conversation and invited them to be on the podcast. So podcasting can be fun. It's your virtual business handshake. You get to meet people that you can't have access to. You're able to cultivate a community, which I love. And it brings me business. I've gotten speaking opportunities through the podcast. I really like the way you talk about marketing. Can we invite you to be on the conference? So I've gotten a lot of opportunities. So even if you don't see the download numbers on surface, just know people are listening and really attaching themselves to the podcast. So again, it's a great way to build loyalty. So yeah, just have fun with it, okay? But know your objectives and why, and your audience first.
And last but not least,
if you were to shrink the sun down to the size of a white blood cell, the Milky Way will be the size of the United States of America. And so if you have not started a podcast yet, or if you're new in your podcast journey and you're worried about whether or not your show sucks, just keep going. Just keep going. And can I say, I'm not going to drop the F word.
I already did,
she dropped
think.
about 10 of them already.
I was like, we good.
Okay, fuck everybody else's opinion.
Yeah, amen.
Hey.
Including
Your own.
your own.
That imposter syndrome will get to you.
Including your own. And we're all guilty of that. Well, I shouldn't speak for everybody, but there are more people who have imposter syndrome than you think.
Yeah.
I speak from experience, and I still sometimes do. Okay? So, to hell with everybody else's opinion. Post the fucking podcast. Post the fucking video.
That's
Shout
right.
out to Brittany.
That's more F-bombs that I'm comfortable dropping.
I'll drop them for you. You can just pass them over here.
So, did I catch up?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
All right.
I kept it real chill.
So there you go.
all right, y'all give it up for Zell, Vanessa, and Freddie. Also, if y'all have any
Question?
questions, they're going to be in the back right there.
Yeah.
And y'all make sure to come up to them and ask them any questions that y'all have, all right?
We're friendly.
And like they said, post the fucking video on the podcast.
Let's go.
That's right. Let's fucking go.
That's a sticker. That's a
Yeah.
sticker.
Are we doing a photo?
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I was like,
Are we
where's
doing
our
a photo?
selfie now?
Oh, yeah, we gotta take a photo.
Yeah, I was like, Brittany, what are you doing? I'm staying with us.
Let's go.
I know, right?
Good job. Thank you.
All right, get the grays out. Caleb is a little crooked.
Yo!
I feel like there's more on my end. Center us a little more.
There you go.
getting-
Get that B-boy
Fucking
snap.
diva over here. What are we doing?
Well, I didn't want to. There we go.
Okay, you know what I'm excited about?
Good job.
I can put my hair in a ponytail now. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we
Did you fall off?